can have an affidavit. You can have an affidavit of signature. The person signs and says, "Oh, this is my signature." Then you hold it along because they used to ask for the document that has signature. So if the person doesn't have international passports and or driver's license that has signature, you can have that with you. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, okay, someone was saying me, so it's okay. So also your family income, you also need to authenticate it. That's for those that are going for regional scholarship. But please note that you are not taking your family income anywhere near the embassy. After authentication, please keep it in your traveling box or somewhere. So let's not say village people followed us for legalization. Yeah. So your certificate, your BSc, your transcript, and your base certificate, and if you have any other affidavits, you also have to authenticate them. All right. Next slide, please. Okay. The educational documents are to be authenticated at the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and, of course, Ministry of Education. Why the non-educational documents are to be authenticated at only the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And there is a new development, which is that your registrar needs to send the document to, an email to verify that, oh, this certificate is from a university. So you can see the email address on the screen. And I think they've been posting it also on the Go Italia page, the email to write to and the email to copy. And if you can also tell your registrar to also copy you so that you have your own evidence, also the time and the date that it was sent is also welcome. And please let it be the official email address, please. And also, when you are sending your documents for authentication, whether you go by yourself, if you are going by yourself, or if you are also sending to someone to do for you, please make photocopy of.
I'm sorry, please, Mr. Ashim, please unmute yourself. Sorry, I muted everybody because of those that were interrupting. If you are not speaking, please mute. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know where I stopped or where you had me last, but I was saying that they should send an email to the ministry from the registrar and please make a photocopy of all your documents. If you are sending to someone that's an agent, a trusted agent, of course, because some agents can mess up your authentication. They do half job. And when you get to the embassy, they send you away. So please avoid that. So if you want to use one that is trusted, that is recommended by someone to you. And make a photocopy. For your WAEC, make sure it is front and back on the same paper, not front on one paper and back on another paper. That's for your WAEC. Of course, other documents like transcripts, it can be on different papers, of course, but your WAEC should be front and back photocopy. And please, when you go, get your remitter receipts and also ensure that they put the sticker and confirm the remitter by yourself and the sticker, and ensure that when you scan, it brings out your name. Because when you get to the embassy and they scan and they say Taiwo instead of Kenny, then there is no way to prove that the authentication was yours. And please also, when you go, ensure that you shine your eyes. Don't allow them to just go and, how would I put it now, to falsify a remitter for you. Some agents are, those business centers, they can go and just edit and just give you a remitter that is not real. Please be watchful. Okay, next slide. See me? Okay. Now, we go to translation. Like I said, you can send your documents to the translator while your authentication is going on. You don't need to wait. And please use the recommended ones. Range Services, ISA, and Kaita. I'm not sure if I get the spelling of the Kaita well, but I think you know what I'm saying. So you can send to them. And please make sure that when you send on time, not 1 week to your legalization date. So that when you get it back, you have at least some days. I said 2 to 3 days before legalization so that you can correct. Not that tomorrow is an appointment and you're getting it today and you're only trying to just scan through. No. Because hence your translation has an error, maybe in the spelling of your name. You can see in the last point I made, I say you should check spelling of your name, your date of birth, the quotes on your WAEC, on your WAEC certificate at the front and at the back, there are some quotes that they wrote. It should be correct. Your transcript, the course codes, and the grades. If you have Mat 101 and you have 56, they should not write 65. So some of those embassy staff are so meticulous in trying to go through your grades even one after the. When I was there, the person was trying to use pencil to trace all my grades and see if it is correct with the original and translated. So it's as serious as that. And please ensure that you use the recommended translators. So when you go for legalization, if you have your authentication and translation correct, then you should have no issue at all. Everything should go well and fine. So I think these are what I'm to talk about. If you have any question at the end, you can contact me. Ensure you get your authentication done properly. If you are using an agent, use a trusted agent. If not, you can go by yourself. Your translation, get it on time. Is recommended ones. Check for errors in the spelling of your name arrangement, very important, as it is on your passport, except for your certificate that some schools use your surname last and stuff like that. So good luck. Grazie mille. We hope to see you in Italy, God willing.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sheon, for that. Now we'll be welcoming Mr. Chinedu Ibe, who is going to be talking to us about legalization, as well as DOV and CIMEA. So do not forget to please write down your questions, because there'll be time to ask questions, and every question should be attended to. Thank you, Mr. Chinedu. You can have the floor now.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize for coming in now. Can I share my screen?
Yes, Presido, you have to make him a co-host, because I don't think you can share the screen without being a co-host.
Or the host, would you rather prefer you share the screen while I just do the talking?
Oh, I was
Okay.
talking. Have you tried to share? Try it.
Yes, I think I can share now.
Okay.
Okay. Can everyone see?
Yes, I can see.
All right. So in the next few minutes, I'll just run through legalization and DOV and CIMEA, of course. And I'll be going through these key points, the 5 of them, believing that at the end of the show, you guys will know all you need to know about the legalization procedure and how to obtain the declaration of value DOV and the statement of comparability from CIMEA. So the first is preparation. Now, from the last speaker, when you must have been done with the process of translation, authentication, and all whatnot, now it's time for you to legalize your documents, get your documents legalized from the embassy. You need to first prepare yourself. Usually, this phase is usually skipped by some people, but it requires a lot of attention. You need to prepare yourself. By preparing yourself, I mean preparing the documents that you're going to legalize, making sure that everything is intact the way it should be. Usually, I usually advise people to have it in mind that your documents are going to be in 3 sets. Yes, 3 sets. The first is you having your original documents, which you must have already authenticated and translated, the originals. Then the second set is the photocopied documents, which were also authenticated at the ministry. Now the third set would now be your translated documents. If you have the 3 sets like this, I'm sure you'll be fine. If you now want to make photocopies for yourself to keep, for any other purpose which you want, you'll be fine. So Preparation, you could ask yourself these questions. First, where do I go for this legalization procedure? Now, we know that there are two, as far as the Italian consulate is concerned in Nigeria. They have their office in Abuja and they have their office in Lagos. And in the period of your pre-enrollment and all, I'm sure you must have known, you must have been sure of which particular one you're headed. The address, where it is, and how you would find your way around there. The second question you now ask yourself, when do I go? Now that's where you now come to the realization that, okay, when? I need an appointment. I need to have a date where I'll go to this place, to the embassy, any of them, to actually legalize my documents. And you now understand that you have to get an appointment. You have to book an appointment. We'll come to that later in the next slide, to be able to have a date, a particular date and a particular time to go and get your documents legalized. Now, the next question you ask yourself, how do I get to, okay, how do I prepare these documents? How do I package myself? Like I already mentioned when I was introducing about the sets of documents you need to arrange and all that. What documents do I carry along with myself? You get everything. Just preparing yourself, both emotionally, physically, because there's a kind of a lot of stress that you're going to be undergoing during the legalization procedure. It's not something you just, if you don't do it right, embassy might send you back. And send you back might mean you're going to get another appointment date, which might take like 1 month, 2 months, Then, when you must have prepared yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, gotten your documents right and all, the next key point, you book an appointment. Booking an appointment is just you writing a very, you can see from here, in the green part of very simple letter addressed to either the consulate office in Abuja or the one in Lagos, depending on what you have on your pre-enrollment. Just asking them simply, I am so and so person, and this is my passport number. I've been admitted to study this kind of degree. And, this is just an example, which you have here, an example of a letter that you write to the embassy. Yours faithfully. So if you're going to Abuja, this is the email address, consulare.abuja@esteri.it. So you send it to them and they give you this kind of response. Okay, this is your appointment date, this is your appointment time, and they give you some advice how you're going to package your documents and all. So you follow the procedure, prepare yourself. And then at that day, at that time, you make sure you're there. If you're not going to be there, you still have an opportunity to tell them, okay, I'm sending this person, this is the person's ID, this is everything, because I will not be there because of so and so reason, hoping that, this person will be attended to, for my documents to be legalized. If you're sending it to Lagos, this is how the response, the one on white, how the response from Lagos looks like. Yeah, they tell you, okay, if you're unable to come, this is what you do. But please note, you have to come with this, you have to come with that, you have to come with that. And they even go as far as giving you the amount you have, for you to have the amount of money you'll be spending at the back of your mind. And they also tell you, ensure you come with this required amount in cash. But from the information I got yesterday, someone I know went there yesterday with cash, and they actually said, no, we would prefer transfer than taking this money in cash. So, and I also got to know from yesterday that if you're going with any affidavit amongst your documents, they're going to charge you 61,500 for that affidavit. So if you're going there with 10 affidavits, 20 affidavits, you know the amount of money you have at the back of your mind. They also tell you that if you should come with the pre-enrollment document. The university that gave you admission, you must have downloaded the pre-enrollment from Italia onto it. So if you have that, you come along with it, because if you don't come along with it, they charge you for educational documents. But if you come with it, your educational documents are free. They legalize it free for you. So during the time you prepare yourself, you come with those documents. There's something I want to, when I get to the documents again that you come with, I will lay some emphasis on, especially on your birth document and all. So this is how you book an appointment, and this is how you get the response, and this is how you prepare yourself to go. Then legalization proper. Let's say you have these documents, The first, original and photocopy of your certificate. Okay, your WAEC. Note that the embassy doesn't accept NICO, at least from the time I underwent this process. So you go with the original copy, like I mentioned. You go with the photocopy, which was authenticated, like the original in Abuja. And then you go with the translated document. Together, if you're going for a master's degree, you can actually leave out this WAEC if it has some problems. Okay, let's say your WAEC has, there are mistakes in the name. There are mistakes in the name, such maybe you have your middle name coming not there at all. If you're coming for master's degree, you can leave out your WAEC certificate. But if you're coming for bachelor's, this WAEC is a must. You have to make sure that everything is right. If there's a mistake in your name, in your WAEC, then you might want to do an affidavit. You also authenticate that affidavit and you also translate it, okay, and all. Now, if you were born, I'm going straight to birth certificate issue because your transcript is the same way you deal with your bachelor certificate or whatnot. That's how you handle them. For the birth certificate, if you were born after 15th of December, 1992, according to the Act, 1999 Act in Nigeria. If you were born 15th December, after 15th of December 1992, you don't have any problems. You just go with the birth certificate from the Nigerian Population Census, NPC. You authenticate it, you translate it, and then but if you were born before this date, that's anything 1991 to 1990, 80 something, you were born before this date, you will need to get an attestation of birth from the same Nigerian Population Census. And it comes with an affidavit. You can take it from anywhere. You don't have to go to the local government where you were born to get it from the Nigerian Population Census. There, you can do it anywhere. And these days I heard that, I think I got that information somewhere, that this process can even be done by yourself online if you're capable of doing it. So prices vary from 5,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, some places 15,000. So I hear. So you can make inquiries by yourself and find out where can I get this document and how do I go about it. It's usually when you get it, you make sure, if you're getting the attestation of birth, you make sure that either your parents, okay, swear the affidavit for you. They have their signatures on the affidavit as deponents, okay? They also have their names on the attestation of birth certificate that you're going to be presenting. Now, there's a problem that usually comes up, okay, with the signature, with the signatory on this attestation of birth and the affidavit that goes with it. If you're using your mom, for instance, she needs to sign as the deponent on the affidavit, and you also need to go with any of her identity documents, say international passport, voter's registration, or ID from work, or driver's license. The important thing is to make sure that there is her face and her signature on that identity document. If you have an identity document that just has a face without signature, and you have another one that has a signature without a face, you can take the two of them. You just the thing is just to make sure that the signature on your affidavit corresponds with the signature on the identity document which you are, presenting. If they don't match, if they don't tally, they'll send you back and ask you to go. If they want to have mercy on you, depending on the mood, they can tell you, okay, come back tomorrow, come back on Monday, that kind of boy. Normally, what they did to me in my own case, they asked me to go and book an appointment again, and I did, and they gave me the next month, end of the next month, to come back with the correct document. So you have to make sure, sorry. that you have this thing complete like this and intact. So then you will not be forgetting your pre-enrollment form. Make sure you sign it. It has a page. The second page usually ends with a signature where you're supposed to sign. People usually overlook this and just whichever one you do, sign it and take it to them. In that way, they will not charge you for your educational document, but your birth certificate, if it is, is going to be charged. So even if you were born after 15th of December, 1992, embassy will charge you for this birth certificate because it's not an educational document. They'll charge you for any other educational document that you have. If you're presenting marriage certificate because you want to go and meet your husband abroad in Italy here, maybe you're coming as a student. Okay, I've also had this experience. You might need to legalize that marriage certificate because that would be, in the end, probably the only document that you have proving that you're married from your country. Well, that aside, this is how the legalization procedure, how you organize your documents and what they require from you as far as your documents are concerned. So the DOV is called the Declaration of Value or Dichiarazione di Valore. It's a kind of document that equalizes, first of all, it presents your educational history, okay? And then it equalizes your education and makes it equivalent to Italian standard of studies. That's what it does. So most universities will require this DOV from the Italian embassy of your country, in this case. What you do, usually after legalization, they give you your documents back like after a week or so. And they also add this DOV for you. But it wouldn't hurt if after they take your documents, you just tell them, I want DOV. I hope it's coming with my documents back. And they tell you, yes, it won't hurt you. In case, because some people usually don't need, there are some people that don't need DOVs and they tell them, I don't need a DOV. And they don't charge you for it. DOV still comes with money. They won't charge you for the DOV. I mean, they won't add the DOV if you tell them, I don't want the DOV. But then, like I said, it won't hurt you if you tell them, I want a DOV, please. And they tell you, okay, yes, we're adding it, no problem. Oh, so that's that about DOV. There is another document that some universities usually ask in place of the DOV, and that document is known as the Statement of Comparability, CIMEA. Okay, so if this document is what is required from your own university, you will need to go to this link. I think I wrote it down here, and then follow the procedure. I think it usually costs about between 100 and 150 euros, if I'm right. They just, you just send them your documents, they go back to your university to verify, and then they give you this statement of comparability. You now present it to your school. Now, I usually get questions like, does it not prevent you from going to the embassy to legalize other documents and all whatnot? CIMEA will give you this statement of comparability, but then if you're going to be needing your birth certificate or attestation of birth certificate to be legalized for the sake of visa application, then yes, you have to still go to the embassy to legalize your birth certificate. Okay, so there's another statement of, there's another one called statement of verification, which some schools also ask for. Okay, this one, I think the charge is between 60 to 70 euros. It's more cheaper than the statement of comparability. Depending on what your school asks you on your pre-enrollment, you have to confirm by yourself. They usually write it on every pre-enrollment document. This is what we need from the embassy in your country before you can come and proceed to enrollment, the proper enrollment. And then whatever it is that they need, you just go ahead and get it. So when you get your documents back from the embassy, which usually is like, it takes usually like a week, or it could be 3 days, 3 working days, whichever one. The next thing you're supposed to now do is to apply for your visa. And I think the next speakers will do justice to this visa application subject. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chinedu. First of all, I'd like to address the people in the chat box. Please you can look at your screen and check the down part of the screen where you see the chat box for the question and answer. So you can ask questions there so that you are sure that the response you are getting is from somebody who has like good idea, one of the admins or something, so you do not get like wrong answers. And please, let's listen to the speakers and ask questions related to what the speakers are talking about. So this way we'll address every questions of yours per speaker. Thank you very much. Now we'll be inviting the next speaker, Mr. Habib, to come and talk to us about the Universitaly.IT enrollment. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Just to clarify, what the moderator is saying that you can drop your questions as you have them. Any question, you can drop them in the Q&A. But please, we have to listen to each topic because I noticed that people are asking questions that might not be directly related to what the speaker is talking about. I will encourage all admins and speakers not to answer such questions until there is a proper time for them, so that people can also pay attention to these little things, quote and unquote. So we are not here only to talk about POF. Other things are very necessary, as we know. So please, you can drop the questions, but please let us leave the answer until we have the right time for that. Thank you. Mr. Bibadiago, please, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? I'm sorry, I might have a cranky voice.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So I'm sharing my screen now. So let's start. So good morning, Mr. President, Dr. President, Dr. Taiwo Olatunji, and the Vice President of NiSIT, Engineer Simi, all the esteemed members of the Executive Board, the regional coordinators of NiSIT, and our moderator, Ms. Adewi. So it's an honor to be here today. My name is Habib, and I'm affiliated to Italy because I studied at the University of Bologna. And this morning I'll talk to us about pre-enrollment, and I'm very sure that most of us are familiar with the topic already. So we just need to maybe just skim through the process together for those that will still be doing it. So in this presentation, I just put some favorite pictures of my friends when I was there. So this is us. Yeah. So okay, so we'll just go through a step-by-step pre-enrollment process to Italian universities via the Universitaly.it website. Okay, so as we know, the website is the official website that is put in place by the Ministry of University and Research for international students who wish to study in Italy. So, and it provides a lot of information. So if you can go through the website, it's really good. You can get a lot of information. You can do university search and stuff there. But the most important thing that we'll talk about the website is the pre-enrollment step. So we know what the pre-enrollment is like. So it differs by university. So we have two categories of university. Majority of the universities want you to do the pre-enrollment after you have gained admission. So for all of us that have gained admission or secured an admission, we must have done this. And those that will still be getting their offers, so they have to do that after they get their admission. While some universities require you to do the pre-enrollment before you apply on their own website, or majorly in some universities, the pre-enrollment is their own admission. That is where they check all your documents. So, but what the pre-enrollment means is why you have to do it is just to secure your spot and tell you are telling the university, you are telling the Ministry of University and Research in Italy, and you are telling the embassy where you apply for visa that you are coming to this particular university to study this particular program. So it's important to do the pre-enrollment to secure your spot, the program that you apply to. And also the website serves as like an information sharing point between the university, the ministry, and the embassy, so that all these three entities, they know which person is going to which university. And it's also an important step, a necessary step for you to like get your study visa. All right. And as we know, you can only pre-enroll to one university. So that is why it's good to wait until you get your best offer before you do the enrollment. And these are some of my friends, Tunji, Viola, and Fatima. Okay. So we'll just run through the website together. So the first step, as tech bros and sis that we are, is to create an account on the website that you want to use. So if you're not familiar with the website, I just put like some screenshots of how the website looks like. So when you first go on universitaly.it, so you see these three, let me call them like slides, because if you use a mobile phone, these three, the purple, something that looks like green and blue, there will be like slides that they'll slide like on your phone like a PowerPoint. So you have to wait for this international student slide to come on. And then you can click on the pre-enroll now. If it is a website, it just shows the three and then you click on the pre-enroll now. So it now depends on you. If you're a new user, you have to register and fill in all the details. If you're not a new user, you just use your login and you sign in. All right. So the pre-enrollment is in 3 steps. The first one is to fill in your personal information. So when you sign in, this is how the page looks like, the left-hand side. So if you are new, you click on new pre-registration application, the green one that is highlighted here. If you are not new, that means maybe you have started the pre-enrollment before. You always find like something that looks like a summary here, and you can click go to question, and then it will take you to where you stopped the last time. So the first step is to fill in your biodata. So you have to make sure you put your correct name the way it is written on your passport, your right date of birth, your address, and then your tax ID. So if you don't have a tax ID generated during your admission, your university application, you can generate a temporary one online by yourself. So the step B is for you to upload your passport photo and your data page, and also to select your preferred embassy where you apply for visa or where you apply for your legalization, and also to enter your program. So in this case, make sure you put your passport photograph, you put your passport, and then you select the embassy, and the next one you select, I want to enroll in a study course. You select university, the university you want to apply to, your course, whether it's master's or bachelor's or PhD. So because most of us, we want to study in English. So I think here it's important that you select English, so that when you select your course, it will actually bring you like the different curriculums if your course has more than one curriculum. So you select the one, maybe like in this case now, you see this one has like the Italian version and the English. So I selected the English. So make sure you select the right one. And here you get like a summary of what you have selected. So one important thing to note in this page is the ID. So some universities require you to provide the ID. Maybe during your admission, you are given like an application number, but most of the universities, they don't require it. So you have to like read through the pre-enrollment procedures for your university to know if this is required or not. And then the step C is where you upload your documents. So if you have been offered admission, usually for most universities, you upload the same documents that you have used for your admission. So you don't need to like maybe stress yourself to get translated documents or legalized documents. But some universities will actually give you instructions on what documents to upload. So you have to read through whatever information your university has provided you. And some universities, they will ask you for the CIMEA or DOV. So that means they even want you to do your legalization before you get your pre-enrollment summary. And yeah, so the step C is where you upload the documents, and then you click on summary, and then you send the pre-registration application after you're done with all of that. So when you submit your pre-enrollment, your status will show sent to University of something. And then it might take the university some days or weeks to like approve your or validate your pre-enrollment. So once it's validated, you receive a notification that looks like this screenshot here, that your pre-enrollment has been sent to the Consulate General of maybe Lagos or Abuja. And then also when you check your university page, you see the status has changed from sent to University of Bologna also to sent to the Embassy of Lagos. All right. So, and then once you get this validation email, that is where you can now download your enrollment summary by going through like the procedure. Like you want to fill the form, you click on go to question, you just skip step A, B, C. When you get to the last step, you'll be able to download your enrollment summary. So if you've made any mistakes while you are filling the form, you can always reach out to the university help or tech support. And you can also contact your university office for quick, maybe if you feel that they are delaying you and you need them to validate the pre-enrollment quickly. So if you ask in the group, we have like the link where you can get the contact of all the university office that are in charge of pre-enrollment, and also the link that will take you directly to where to get the tech support. So that's just the summary. Good luck, and hopefully we'll see you soon and you can enjoy some good Italian food with us. And yeah, we can enjoy together at the beachside like my friend here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babe. And yes, actually, for the last statement, you all need to come here for the food and the beachside. So, having discussed about the pre-visa actions, such as the authentication, the translation, legalization, DOV, and then the enrollment, now we'll be moving ahead towards the visa application. And we'll be welcoming Mrs. Raimot to talk to us about how to fill out visa forms from TLS appointment to filling the visa forms, and then the important things to note.
So good afternoon from Italy and good morning from Nigeria. So my name is Raimot and I will be speaking about visa application. But for this purpose, I would like to share my screen. Mr. President, please. Sorry, can you see my screen already?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry. So for this for the visa application process, I would like to say that the visa application does not require interview. It actually requires you to submit the document to the TLS, which is an agency that is in charge of visa application, since the embassy itself does not accept visa. So the website is it.tlscontact.com. So when you get here, you scroll down and you begin by selecting your country. Since we are applying from Nigeria, you click Nigeria and you click submit. So after that, it takes you to this page where you can choose to submit your visa either at Abuja or Lagos. So I will be choosing Lagos here. So this is what the page looks like. For a first-time user, you need to register. But okay, I actually have an account with them. So but for the purpose of this webinar, I'll be clicking on the register button just for you to see what it looks like if you're a first timer on the website. So this is it here. When you scroll down, you need to enter your valid email address. You confirm it, you create a password, and you click on what? Create. So after clicking on create, automatically send an email to your email address, which says that you have to activate it within 24 hours. If you fail to activate it within 24 hours, that means you'll have to go back to the website and re-register again. So after you've actually activated from your email, then you need to come back and log in. So I won't be creating because I already have an account. So let's move to login now. So you insert your email. I just created this for the purpose of this tutorial. So this is not, because Kabadash is not an official mail. So you have to use your name. I think we all understand that. So then you insert your password and click log in. So you begin the application by clicking on create an application. Okay, let me run through this. So this is what it looks like. Number one is filling a form, which requires you to actually create an application on the website. So after you've clicked on the create an application, you've created an application with them that you've submitted, and you'll be given a date to come and submit your application. So these are other steps that you need to follow in. After that, it will be validated. So after that, it moves to the next one. After clicking on this application and it has been created, it's moved from yellow sign to green sign. That means it has been successful. And same as your number 2, when it is in yellow, I think it is in the process form. So the moment it moves to green, it's the process has completed. Then number 3, like that. Number 3 is when you actually go to submit your visa, the day you went to submit your visa. So the number 4, when they confirm your documentation, when they transfer it. So as you progress with the visa application, you'll be coming back here. You don't even need to mail them or to be calling them. You can always come back to your portal just to confirm the process, the progress of your application. So let's create an application after logging in now. So this is what it looks like. You have to choose purpose of travel. For short stay, that means you are traveling to Italy and you are spending less than 3 months, 90 days. And for long stay, you are staying more than 90 days, which for every study visa, we know we'll be staying more than 90 days. So you click on long stay. So long stay has different categories. As you can see, are you going for work, employment, studies, family reunion, EU citizen, family member, re-entry, sports, university, or religious? So for this purpose, you need to click on study visa. Actually, some people have asked so many questions about the difference between the studies visa and university visa. To be honest with you, I don't know, maybe my ogas can come in to state the difference, but I really don't know the difference. But I would just advise that whether you click study visa or university visa, when you still get to TLS contact, it is still the same thing. And you will not be charged, maybe, oh, why did you go and pick university visa? And they will not charge you for university visa. But the best thing to click for me is studies visa. So this is just like a confirmatory page that, are you sure you are going to study for more than 90 days? Then you confirm. So here we go, where you need to input your name, your surname, you input it, then first name. Like we've known that naming system in Italy does not require, it's not like the same thing with Nigeria, where we have our first name and our middle name. For me, my first name is Raimot and my middle name is Olumide. And looking at this format now, there is no space for Olumide here. So the moment I click on this, after inserting Raimot space, then I will input my Olumide just to avoid problem. Because if you automatically input only your first name without the third name, so that means you already created problem, because the thing will register without the third name. So you proceed to inserting your date of birth, your nationality, the type of travel document, maybe ordinary passport or others. We all have ordinary passports. So the travel document number that is on your international passport, when it was issued, the date it was issued, the date it will be expired,
Is it me or like there's a network issue?
Issued by Nigeria, automatically it's issued by Nigeria. And if you don't have Nigeria, and if you're working, you can decide to put your employment status there, your marital status and mobile number, then travel information. On here, main destination, our main destination here, flight company, they take more than, at times your flights might, maybe you are actually leaving the country, Nigeria, maybe you have to consider the time you are leaving. Let's assume your flight departure time is around maybe 6 p.m. Nigerian time. Automatically, you know that you cannot get to Italy that same day again. So you have to be very, very careful of that. So you know that you are arriving on the next day. For example, let's say you are traveling, today is 1st of June. Your flight date is 1st of June, and my flight time is 6 p.m. Automatically, I'll be landing on the 2nd of June. So your departure date is different from your arrival date. But in some cases like Royal Air Maroc, I think Royal Air Maroc departs very early in the morning, as early as 4:30 a.m. and they get to Italy as maybe around 5:30 or 4 in the evening. So you have to verify, for that case of Royal Maroc, your departure date and your arrival date might be the same, but it is not the same with all, maybe in all cases of all flight companies. So you have to be very careful. You should understand the difference between departure date and arrival date. So for this case, you are putting your arrival date, not the date you are departing. You can only put the date you are departing if it is the same as your arrival date. So after putting that, then you move to the delivery service. If you actually want your visa to be delivered to you, you can click on yes, then you click on the address that the visa will be delivered to. But if you want to go back there to collect yourself, you just click on no. Can you see this is not clickable again? Then you click on done. So when you click on done, okay, I didn't input details, so you get. So let's assume I actually filled in all this process and you click on done. So the next page is automatically take you to is a page where you actually select dates that is available for you to submit your application. So after submitting the date, you confirm, and an email will be sent to your email address that you provided in the application process. So you have to understand that the email sent to you, you need to actually print it the day you are going to submit your visa application, because that is what you are going to use to enter. The date will be sent and the time will be sent also. And they used to follow the time of it. Like the moment your time has passed, you already created problem for yourself that day. So after that being said, let's move to the visa, how to fill the visa application form. Sorry, please, Simi, please, do you have the application form? Mr. President.
Yes, I do. Give me some minutes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I think I didn't copy it to my system. I just discovered now. So I'm sorry about that. Okay. Okay, sorry, I fixed it. I found the visa application form. Let's continue. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. So this is what the visa application form. It can actually be downloaded from the website, but a lot of it has been, this particular format has been shared already on the Go Italia platform. And if you need one to, we can share it at the end of this webinar. So you start by, you have to go with your passport, and it's Schengen passport as format in which you have to take it. It should be taken in white background, and I think a dimension of 35 by 45 millimeter, if I'm right. Please, I will confirm I'm not sure that is that is it. So I'll confirm and we'll drop the major requirements at the end of this. So actually for Abuja, if you are submitting your visa at Abuja, I will advise you take your passport as Studio 24, because I think from what we've heard, that is the only studio that they accept from. For Lagos too, you can take it as Studio 24. But if you have some passports place that you can actually take it, that they will give the same format as Studio 24, you can take it. But just to avoid storage at touch, I would advise you just go to Studio 24 to take it and make sure that all the specifications stated are actually considered while taking it. So we'll move to filling of the form. Then it is very important that most application in Italy is filled with black pen. So if you are filling this application, I will advise that you strictly make use of black pen, or you can make use of your Microsoft Edge to fill it automatically. And I think for people that make use of iPhone now, there is autofill form on iPhone that you can just fill it straight, and it's automatically display in black ink also. So you start by inserting your surname here. My surname is Ayegbajeje, then surname as Beth, then you insert it into Ayegbajeje. Then the first name, like I've said, can you see that in this form, they even said first name / given name. So that means you are not meant to only insert your first name for people that have other or middle name. So aside my first name, Raimat, I'll be inserting my middle name too, which is Olumide. Then we proceed to number 4, date of birth in format of your day, first, month, and year. Me, I'm April 8, 1990, Bogodon. So you insert it there. Your place of birth, you insert the city or the town in which you were given birth to. Your country of birth, me, I was given birth to in Nigeria. So you write Nigeria here. My current and only nationality for now is Nigerian. So that is the nationality. And then if you have a nationality that is different from birth, then you can actually include it. But if your nationality is still the same from birth, just include Nigeria and leave this place. Then your gender, you click on female, marital status, if you are single, civil partnership, divorced, other, married, separated, or widow, you state whichever one you belongs to. Then number 10, in case of minors, if you are minor, you actually state, you put the name, surname or first name and address and nationality of the holder of parental responsibility or legal guardian in case of minor. But I don't think any of us applying a minor, but just in case, maybe there is somebody that is minor that's less than 18, maybe that is going for BSc, you can actually state the surname and address of your parents or legal guardian. Then number 11 said type of travel passports. There are different categories, but I'm very sure that majority of us, including me, we have ordinary passport. Me, I've not even seen other type of passport because I only have the ordinary passport for now. So the number of travel documents, that is the number of your passport, your passport number that you can see towards the left side of your passport. It is there. I think it used to start with alphabet followed by number like A1153 blah blah blah. So date of issue, the date it was issued, you include it here, and the date of what validity, the date your passport will be expiring. So then the country that released it, you don't have write Nigeria here, released by or issued by. Then applicant home, number 16, applicant home address and email address. You write your official home address and your email here. Telephone number, you input your number. Then number 17 states that resident in a country other than the country of current nationality. So if you have a residence, maybe you are staying in Nigeria as at the time of application and you have residence maybe in another country, for example, maybe you have residence already in Italy and you are in Nigeria at the point of application. So you can actually say yes and input your residence permit number, put it there. But if you don't have another resident in another country other than Nigeria, just say no and move to number 18. So current occupation, students, or if you choose to disclose that you are working at the moment, you can write your status of employment at that time. But I would just advise you just put students and leave it like that because nobody's going to verify that. So there is no point. So number 19 states that employer and employer's address and telephone number. You know, number 18, we already stated that we are a student, so you can just write the name of your school. Then I actually finished from University of Ilorin, although I was done then. So I just put University of Ilorin, then the school address. Then I moved to the next one. For number 20, main purpose of the journey. So why are you applying for the visa? Like they've asked on the TLS website that I explained earlier on. So you should tick study if that is because this is the reason why we are doing this webinar, is for study purpose. So you should click on study. Yeah, then your destination in Italy, there are different places, there are different cities in Italy. So are you going to Padova, Parma, Pisa, Bologna, and the like. So you state where you are going. Then number 22 states that Schengen state of first entry. Italy is our Schengen state of first entry because you are landing in Italy first. Then number 23 says number of entries requested. You have one, we have two, we have multiple. What this means is that if you clicked on one, so that means you are saying that you only want them to grant you access to enter once. Click on two, like twice. But if you click on multiple entries, so that means you are trying to let them know that okay, you want to enter and exit
Yeah.
the country.
You have some few minutes more.
Okay, sorry. So
To
let me
help with
run
the
through
time.
it.
Yeah.
So the number of days of intended stay. So just click on, you can write 360, between 364 to 365 days. Although this doesn't mean that your visa is actually granted for a year. So you need to renew permission when you get there. Then intended date of arrival in Schengen. I think I've already explained this earlier on. You write your date of arrival and it has to be the same with the date you put on your accommodation and your flight itinerary. So you have to be very, very careful. If you don't understand that, we can run through it again during question and answer. So surname and name of the person in Italy who applied for, but this we are going for study. So you don't need to click on this. You don't need to fill in anything there. You don't need number 26 after the number 27, name and address of host company. For MSc, you can write your department address or your international body. So I chose to write department during my time. Then telephone and fax number. You can always find this in the website of your department. You write their address, their phone number. Then surname, first name, address, telephone. For MSc, you can actually repeat what you wrote on number 27 here for this surname also. But for people that are going for PhD, you definitely have a supervisor you are working with rather, so you can just input them. Then the cost of traveling and living during the applicant stay is covered by, if you are the one sponsoring yourself, the speaker that will be talking about proof of fund, we actually go into details for this area. So if you are sponsoring yourself, just click on the applicant. But if you have a sponsor, maybe any form of assistantship or sponsorship or scholarship, so just click on sponsor here. So, and you move on. Then means of support, is it cash? Is it provided accommodation? You can click on cash. But if it's your scholarship is maybe they are not going to be given any stipend, you just maybe they just provide a form of accommodation, you can click on provided accommodation. And if it is both also, you can click on, after clicking on, maybe you have a scholarship here, cash and provided accommodation. And I think personal data of family member who is if you have anybody in European country, you can input it. If you don't have, just ignore this 29. Then you move on to 31, where you write your date and you sign. You write the place and date. Maybe you are submitting Lagos and that date, then your signature, and that moves to the end of that's the end of the form. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Ms. Raimot, for rushing that up. I know it wasn't so easy for you to rush it up because I mean we do not have much time. And if we have more questions as regarding this, please, while you are filling your form, don't forget to send us screenshots of places that feel some type of way for you. Maybe you are confused and you don't know what to write in there. And also, while we do the question and answer session, we'll be able to answer to any questions if you have any at all. We'll be talking about the proof of accommodation right now and flight reservation. So we'll be inviting our VP, Ms. Simisola Orisonya Taiwo, to talk to us about proof of accommodation and flight reservation. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Similoluwa Orisha Taiwo. I'm the Vice President of the Nigerian Scholars in Italy, and I'm also a master's student at the University of Salerno, studying food engineering, the second year. Today, I will be talking about flight reservation, and medical insurance and accommodation reservation in general. So the flight itinerary can be done through various means, be it Wakana, Ethiopia Airline, Expedia, Wigo, Skyscanner, TravelStats, or even Booking.com. These places you can book your flight itinerary without paying anything. And yes, this is just an interface of how the Ethiopian airline app or the website looks like. But for Ethiopian airline, I think it's preferable to use the application for the flight itinerary booking. It's more easier, but you can also use the website. So you choose your departure airports: Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Owerri. So the arrival: Napoli, Rome, Brindisi, Milan, Torino, any parts. And you can also choose the departure dates when you are departing from Nigeria, and return dates. We are not returning, but it is just for visa purpose, because a lot of us usually state in our letter of sponsorship and letter of intent that we will return back to Nigeria. So you must have a return date. So that's why it's a return itinerary booking. So this is the interface. This for Ethiopia Airline. I'm to go or leave Saturday, 3rd of June. And I will be back September, whatever, October, whatever. Sorry. And Lagos to Addis Ababa. This is just the flight itinerary and the confirmation of the flight, the blah, blah, blah. So we move straight to the proof of accommodation. The embassy recognizes like this form of accommodation, like an evidence of where you want to stay. Maybe accommodation from school as a scholarship recipient, reservation, hotel booking, hostel booking, and also maybe if you have a family, a aunt, friend, or uncle who can house you, you'll be required an invitation, which is called the Hospitalitania Italia, which is a proof of is also on the TLS website. So you can, if you fall into this category, you could just go to the TLS and download this form for the person to fill. And this hotel booking, you can use Airbnb, booking.com. Usually for visa application, it is advisable that you choose an accommodation which is close to your university. You should not, for example, say you are schooling in the University of Florence and you go and book an accommodation in Rome or Pisa. It's not advisable, because it means that you really don't know where you are going to. And you should also make sure that any accommodation you are booking should also be a cheap accommodation, which when the mathematics is also done from your proof of funds, you cannot have a proof of fund of 2 million, for example, and book an accommodation of 1.8. So it sells a lot. Then there are hostels around, Plus Hostel, AO, different hostels, Hostel World. There's also like on a Google app that you can also download maybe when you arrive to check for hostels around you can stay. Accommodation booking, the regional or the university accommodation hostel, Edelista, Immobiliare, this, and student associations too. You can have for the Erasmus people. Some of them have like the Erasmus hostel, depending on the location and Facebook, etc. So we move to the medical insurance. So the medical insurance is required, or medical travel health insurance, or travel health insurance, as whatever synonym you would like to use for it. So this is how this is the regulation, so we can see and read it. So this is how the Alliance travel health insurance or travel insurance looks like for 1 year. This is according to the embassy's requirements. You can see it here. And this is the costs. I don't know if it has increased or or decreased. I have no idea. And these are the websites you can book them from. And this is also for AXA Mansard. This is a format or mine. So this is the AXA Mansard, and this is also the website. I think AXA Mansard also have like an application too you can do it on. And these are also some lists. There are more than this. You can choose anyone. It's not compulsory. You use AXA Mansard or I don't know, anyone. There are other Leadway, a lot of them, but just make sure that they are approved by the embassy. I also want to, sorry. I also want to share my screen to also show you how the Alliance website looks like, because you can do it yourself at home, at your convenience. This is how the website looks like. You select the destination, Italy, and the booking type, individual, or if you are going with your family, and school. You choose your email, your number, your whatever, anything you wish. Then you can get a quote, which will be, I don't know, given. So yeah, this is just the interface. And sorry, I also want to show you the interface of AXA Mansard too. Okay. I can't find the, okay, yes, I can. Okay, so this is how the AXA Mansard also looks like. You can also do it yourself, or you can decide to go to their office to also do it. And you can also get a quote to know the amounts required for the insurance. So it's online, as all of us, we also tech bros and techies, so we can check it out here. Thank you very much for your attention. Grazie mille.
Thank you so much, VP, for that. I hope that we are listening and we're paying attention to everything ongoing here, because they are equally relevant. I mean, they are equally relevant. Sorry about that. So I think we should take like few minutes break. It's not going to be by 12:25. We're back. So we need to rest our head for like 3 minutes. And when we come back by 12:25, 12:25, we would have Mr. Ayobami talk to us about the proof of funds. So stay around and just relax for 3 minutes. Thank you. we'd like to say thank you to people who have spoken to us before, Mr. Sheon, Mr. Chinedu, Mr. Beeb, Miss Raimot, Miss Simsola. And then now we'll be going ahead to talk about the proof of funds, as well as scholarship recipients, and then the self-sponsored and the parental parts. And I know a lot of people have questions about this. Please pay attention as Mr. Ayobami Udaro will be here to speak with us now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Abiola. Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah, I believe we can all see my screen. Let's see.
Yes.
Sorry, please give me a moment. Okay, so yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, it is afternoon everywhere now. Yeah, my name is Ayobami Udaro, and I'm a master's student at the University of Salento in Italy. So today I'll be talking about proof of funds. I've been seeing a lot of questions around this. A lot of people are even scared about this POF. Yes, you should be worried. You should prepare for it, but then it's a big deal, but it's not something you should lose sleep over. So let's dive right in. I'll be touching the key parts, the key points, and the key points of the POF. And please, every information that is being shared, they are just based on my personal experience and that of my colleagues. So it's not, I don't work with the embassy, so it doesn't mean that any information you are getting here is directly from the embassy. So please let us take note of that. So first thing about proof of funds. Proof of funds, what we want to do with proof of funds is just to show that you are rich and you can sponsor yourself while you are here, that you won't depend on the government for finances or whatsoever, that you can actually sponsor and you are capable of studying in Italy. You know, so the key thing or the key element you want to do is you want to show that you are rich, or that your parents are very, very rich. So you want to boast, show off. That's what you want to do with POF. So please don't think that, don't let me show off. 30 million is too much. Would it be too much or something? Please, as much as you can, show off. Yeah, so on the sponsorship part, there's different kind of people that can actually sponsor you for to study here in Italy. You don't have to necessarily have to be able to sponsor yourself alone. So the highly recommended sponsors that you can have, the first one is yourself. The second one is parents or spouse. The last one is scholarships. So these are the three that are highly recommended, at least on the embassy's website. You'll find all this there. So highly recommended means that, like, it will be accepted, like the acceptable ones. The non-recommended are just, let me say, you can use them if you don't have any other choice, if you don't have any other option, you get, because we have some people that don't have any other option, but the chance of it going through is low. So family members, your siblings, even if your siblings, uncles, bear the same surname or not, it is no more recommended. Because in time past, before last year, we always advise that family members, especially your siblings, that you share the same surname, your uncle that you share the same surname, they can sponsor you. But right now, based on last year's experience, a lot of people were rejected because of this, because of using siblings. So please take note, your siblings cannot sponsor you again. That's in quotes. And as I said, not recommended. So some people can still go ahead and use them. And possibly maybe they put in a very strong application and they get through. But based on last year's experience, and it might have changed this year, but usually the embassy is likely to go back to what they've upgraded from. It's unlikely to go back to what they've upgraded from. So please take note of this. If you are thinking, oh, I have a sister in the US or in the UK or even in Italy, maybe if your sister or your sibling is in Italy or in an European country, maybe. But please just note that if you have that in mind, at the back of your mind, take it out. So you can use them as supporting sponsor. Maybe you are the main sponsor, you have your funds in your account, or your parents are the major ones. You get. So please, the family members should be supportive, and they can move funds. They might be able to move funds into your account. That I can't say. Friends and bosses also, those ones, they are far away. Like the chances of you getting in is very, very low, because the fact is they believe that any sponsor that you will say will sponsor you, they also know the situation of Nigeria. They know that before someone can say, I will sponsor your education and give you about 4 million, even 1 million naira self, you will sweat unless the person is actually directly related. That's why the highly recommended sponsor. They know your parents definitely can definitely go all out for you. But your friends, your boss, oh, I have my boss, he has some money, my company, blah, blah, blah. All those things, they will think of it like, how valuable are you in that company for them to sponsor you? So when you are putting together your POF, you are thinking like the embassy. You say, put yourself in their condition and try to see, will you admit this person? So that's that on sponsors. So the documents you need to provide. Documents you need to provide for POF. Although this list, most of these lists are on the what's it called? On the requisite documents from that the embassy gave for you to prepare for visa application. But this particular one, documents for POF, especially for each of the sponsors, no matter the sponsors you are using, be it yourself or whoever you list as your sponsor, you must provide these documents. The most important one, 6-month statement of account, either bank account from the bank actually. As I was answering some questions, please, if it is fintech, please stay away. Use a normal bank. As much as you can, also stay away from microfinance banks. As much as you can. Use the popular banks, the major banks that we know. Stay away from fintechs. Microfinance, you can use them, but they are not advisable. Then 6 months of statement of account. If you have fixed deposit also, you can show fixed deposit, but make sure that your fixed deposit will the fixed deposit would mature by the time you are traveling, like your departure date. It would have matured before then, because they would need to see that, oh, you have access to these funds. You understand? So get a reference letter from the bank also that will state the account balance. It must be signed by someone in the bank just to verify. The reference letter is not compulsory, because I didn't use it during my time, but a lot of people use it. So please get a reference letter from the bank that is stating this 6-month statement of account. I wrote here that stocks, shares, most times the financial market, anything you have in financial markets, they are not actually recognized, but you can use them as supporting. As I said, you are showing off, showing how rich you are. So the stocks and shares, they should not be the major statement of account you are putting forward, but you can add them. So for you to be able to prove the amount in this statement of accounts, you need to show, okay, how did this money come in? You need to show your payslip, job contract that is stating your salary, how much the salary of the sponsor you are using. As I said, if you are using your parents, if you are using yourself as sponsors, please include all these things for each of the sponsor. Please, for each of the sponsor, payslip, job contract, you have to state your salary. Then if you have fixed assets, let's say you have a land, you have properties you can use, yes, you can provide the document. All documents that are always that you need to submit should be original documents. But sometimes, let's say you might not, all these fixed assets, some people might not be able to get the original documents. You can submit the soft copies, copies of it, like photocopies and all. You might not necessarily submit the original copies of the fixed asset. Photocopies are okay. But if you submit your original, any original document you submit for your visa application, they will return them. So be rest assured, be calm about it. When they will return all originals that are collected from you. Statement of account should be original, definitely. And tax certificate, yes, tax certificate. A lot of us, we always have issues with this. Please get tax certificate if you can. Tax certificate if you can, please get it. It is necessary. Most people that work in companies, it's just to prove and to affirm that, oh, the amount you are stating or that is in your statement of account is actually legit. It's not like you just paid someone to move in funds. You understand? These people live in Nigeria. They know how Nigerian system works. So please give them what is essential, necessary, that would be proof beyond reasonable doubt that this money, the money you have in your account, is yours or that of your sponsor. So yeah, for the people who ask how much should I have in the account, general rule of thumb says about 6,000 euros per year. At least that's what is on, what's it called? That's what I've seen on most documents of the embassy's website. At least 6,000 euros. And some people will say multiply by the total sum of the year of years of your program. Like, okay, let's say if you are going for a master's degree, that's 2 years, then multiply 2 years by 6,000. So to have 12,000 euros in your account. Well, as I said, it's the general rule of thumb, but it is not, I don't think it's compulsory. I don't think I didn't do that during my time. Most of us, most of my colleagues too, most of the things they did was just to get that 6K in their account, 6,000 euros. You know, equivalent of that in the current exchange rate is a bit higher. I know that the embassy has their own exchange rates. So I don't know if they've updated it, but you can look it up. So if they don't, use the normal, what's it called? Currently, it's about 1,500 to €1 exchange rate. So we are looking about 6-7 million, or I said 6-7 million. That's about 9 million. 9 million naira. But then, as I said, don't be scared. In the sense of, we know 9 million naira in this economy. We understand how it works. But then the fact is, if your sponsor is very, very strong, like your sponsor has a very strong account statement, the money is flowing in and the person is working, so they know that, oh, this person will definitely get salary the next month, will be able to sponsor you and all. So you might not necessarily need these amounts in full, but try as much as possible, as if you can, have this 6,779 euros per year, because they believe that I think it's about 400 and something euros per month that would make you survive here in Italy. So what I did during my time was I created this annual budgetary sum to study here in Italy. So this particular annual budgetary sum, you also can have an idea of how much is waiting for you in Italy to be spent. You can also draft something like this and be able to calculate. Summary of this also can be included in your letter of intent. Your letter of intent later during your application, your visa application process. When you're about to apply for your visa, we'll talk more about this letter of intent and all of that things. So tuition fees annual, the amount of the cost of your school fees. In my own school is about 1,000 euros. Although in most schools you don't pay up to this, because as a Nigerian there are discounts. Even if you can show that if you are not really financially buoyant, also it could reduce. But for the case of your visa, the tuition fee without the exact amount put it there. Residence permits. This is the amount for residence permits that you need. As soon as you are landing like this, bam, you are paying this 116 euros. Health insurance, no, this is 700. This is for the, what's it called? It is for the Italian embassy, the Italian government health insurance. There are private institutions that you can go for options, but 700 for health insurance. Regional tax, 176. I think it is for everybody, irrespective of the region. I don't know, quote and unquote. Rent and utility bill, I use 250 euros. Some people, it depends on your city. I live in the south, so it is cheaper to live in the southern part of Italy. If you're schooling in the north, you can plan about 300, 350, or 400, as the case may be. Bus pass, in my city also, there is student plan. Student plan is about 12 euros. I learned that in some cities.
It looks like your Wi-Fi password has changed.
Sorry.
To update your Wi-Fi information, go to the Alexa app.
Sorry, please. So, as I was saying, so for rent and utility, it depends on the city you are living in. Some 400 euros, some 500, some even 180. But I used a budget of 250 euros. Bus pass 12, okay. Mobile subscription, yes, 15. I think that's the maximum anyone will pay for mobile subscription. That's for internet and call, because it's free. So, and all that, I did food 6 euros per day. Then bank account opening, you might need it, you might not. Flights, I budget of 650. This application process, that is including legalization, everything, that's about 300 euros. The sum is about 8,400. See, this is just a budgetary sum. It's not the exact. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't lose sleep over it. But it gives you an idea of how much you need to budget and how much you might need to show proof of. If your own is not up to this, if your own is about, let's say, 4K or 3K, you can summarize it and show on, what's it called, on your statement, letter of intent, as I said. And what else? For scholarship owners, sometimes they would, your scholarship might come with free accommodation. So definitely you can take out the rent and utility bill and whatever other things that your scholarship takes off your hand, you can include. So I saw a question the other times. The person said, is it compulsory that the money be put in your account must come in gradually or come in once due to sales of particular property? The fact is, if you are selling property, you can put in the money at once. But just make sure that the person that you sold the property to, while transferring the funds, the person states in the, what's it called? Is it reference or so? States the appropriate narration for the transfer. You understand? So it can come in once, and you must be able to also prove that you actually sold a property. So include as much document as possible, because there is no interview. They'll just be looking through your documents. And these guys are they have financial experts that will go through your financial statement and know. So if you are giving scope or you are trying to play smart, they will know. So please and please, let us try as much as possible to show, prove beyond any reasonable doubts. As they say, as someone used to say in court, that it is not about the person that is about court cases, that is not about the person that is right or that serves justice. It's about how you can prove your case in front of the court, the judge. So general tips to note about POF. First of all, try to use more than one account. If you can, it is not compulsory. These are just tips I feel. So it is not compulsory to use more than one account. Have a major account and supplementary account. The account you want to use must be LD. What I mean by LD means that it must be, you cannot just show 1 month accounts. Let's say, since they said you should show an account of 6 months, but your start balance is about 50,000 naira. Then end balance, they are saying 12 million, 15 million. Bro, how come? So that is not an LD account. Or you said that they saw that on your account the income of the sponsor you are using is 30,000 naira monthly income that they've seen. But then at a particular time, 20 million just came inside. How far now? It just they drop from where they drop from. So please, your account must be healthy. Like there should be transactions going in, coming in. They should know that, oh, this person is actually rich as they state. You understand? So funds donated you must reference appropriately. You understand? So they know that your family members can support you. You get, they can support you, they can donate money for you, for your education. You can even take a loan. If you take a loan, make sure you have documents to back up the loans. You get, so your sister can send you money, support for academics, for your masters. Your siblings can send you money, different people can send you money.
Sorry, Mr. Ayo, you have a few minutes.
Few minutes, okay, thank you.
Yes,
so
thank
then,
you.
as I said, insert a summary table, expenses versus available funds of in your letter of intent. Then let your document be convincing enough. As I said about proof of funds, you are just proving beyond every reasonable doubt that you are rich and you can sustain yourself. As I said, show how rich you are. Don't be humble. Show off. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I've been able to answer as much other questions that you might have. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for the good insights as regards the proof of funds, because I know a lot of people have questions on this, and I hope that we prepared our questions, because very soon we can ask a lot of questions at the end of this. So now we'll be inviting Mr. Joseph to come speak to us about responding to pre-rejection notice. Mr. President, do you have something to say? Because I saw like, okay. So Mr. Joseph, please, you have the floor.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joseph Ofebu. I would have said standing on the existing protocol, but considering that I'm sitting down, permit me to use sitting on the existing protocol. Here, before I proceed, I would like to give a listener's discretion. What I'm going to say here is going to be basically on personal views and experiences with me, and as well as my colleagues. So probably because of some unforeseen circumstances or inadequate knowledge of some applicants, some of the applicants tend to get a rejection notice or pre-rejection notice. Some are not quite lucky to get the pre-rejection notice. But when you are lucky to get a pre-rejection notice, just look at it as a second chance. So please, the host, next slide, please. Before I proceed further, my slide might look hanky because two reasons. Why? I want you to understand that it's okay to make mistakes. And you don't have to kill yourself or go through hell just because you made a mistake and you got pre-rejection notice. It could be a skip of information or some important information which you are not aware of. But the benefit of this webinar is to help you as much as possible to avoid some of these common mistakes. I will start with the slide. Don't run away from and challenge because I'm afraid. Instead, I run towards it because the only way to escape fear is to trample it beneath your foot. Next slide, please. Now, there are a lot of factors that could make you to receive pre-rejection notice. One, it could be past or current criminal actions. If you have an understanding case with the embassy. Perhaps you had an information that is not clear or that proves to be criminal in kind of, they might have to have sent the passport or your document to the police. But at that point in time, if you must have retrieved it, there might be, when you apply again, there might be a room whereby they might send a rejection notice to you. Insufficient explanation for the purpose and circumstances of the planned stay. That could also be a factor whereby you did not explain what your intended stay in Italy could be or how long you are going to stay and for the purpose which you are traveling to Italy. Lacking to present a convincing proof of accommodation. Like the person who already stated in proof of accommodation, rightly stated, you need to focus on that and listen to that more for you to build a concrete document and the one that would also be proof enough. Invalid travel insurance. My colleague also mentioned about travel insurance, whereby you have to and how to go about it and the number of days you have to book for it. So this also is another factor that could also affect and make them give you pre-rejection notice. In amidst this, let me not forget, I advise whenever you print your document, as much as the number of copies they are requiring from you, try to create more copies for your own archive. In case a situation whereby you get this pre-rejection notice, most applicants make such mistakes. They don't have a copy of their own. And when you begin to ask them, what are the documents they submit? They don't know. Yes, you're human beings. You can't remember all. Sometimes you have the document, but the person who has the potential to guide you might be looking for some little information that you might have skipped or you might have not taken notice of. And the person will want to demand of the documents which you submitted during your application. And once you don't have it, the person will have little or no amount of knowledge to help you scale through this pre-rejection notice. Unacceptable or non-corresponding birth or marriage certificate. Someone spoke on this. I think Chinedu, my colleague, also spoke on this. Insufficient means of substance. Ayobami, my colleague, mentioned exclusively intense and in-depth about proof of fund. So these are also things that could also make the embassy to give you pre-rejection notice. Invalid letter of reference. Yes, most people don't actually provide reference from whatever they're writing, especially in terms of your SOP. Your SOP, is it linked with all the documents? Are you explaining there should be a linkage from your statement of account to your document, to your travel health insurance, to your proof of account, to your proof of accommodation? Italy is not like other embassies whereby they have the tenacity to call you for an interview. You don't have an interview. Your document speaks for you in your absence. Because of sometimes they might not be able to connect the dots, how this money came about, what is this, who is sponsoring you, who is bringing this money, how much is the one you're providing as your own personal fund. The letter speaks for you in your absence. That is the essence why they have to, people encourage you to write SOP. Insufficient proof of travel itinerary. When what you have as your flight itinerary, the cost there does not correspond to the amount you have in your POF, it could lead to pre-rejection. Passport invalidity. Yes, most people neglect that. Yes, some, especially most who are married, they have their kids write or draw some pens or draft some things on their passport. Yes, it has every tendency, probability of giving you pre-rejection. Your passport should be neat. There should be clarity of whatever that is in your passport. Your passport is like, it should be your treasure. You need to guard it diligently and very, very, very carefully. If there is a stain on it, it could lead to pre-rejection. I could remember when I wanted to renew my passport, I got to the place and I saw some persons who were asked to stay outside because their passport was not clean. It was not neat at all. There are some parts, some pages were torn. This could also lead to pre-rejection. That leads me to also damaged passport. Then insufficient explanation for the purpose and circumstances of the planned stay. If you don't explain how long you are going to stay and what reason is not sufficient, what are you going there to do? You find out that your visa could probably be different from another person's visa. Some persons have student visa, some persons have tourist visa, some persons have visitors visa. So what are you going there to do? You need to state that, the purpose and the circumstances of your planned stay. First travel documents. Oh, this has placed our country on a black book. I'm sorry to say that, but that's true. The bitter truth. Most persons make proof of stuff. They go to do Adobe Photoshop to scan some documents which they cannot get from the legal institution. Sometimes it could be transcript. They forge it. Sometimes it could be some other document. A list of them, I can't list all, and they forge all these documents. Sometimes it will be passports. Some people go as far as forging passports. So all these things could also lead, you have forgot that there is a database. You should never view your challenges as a disadvantage. Instead, it's important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is actually one of your biggest advantages. So these are more of lists. I just have to state it categorically on what each of these factors which I stated could actually be. First, travel document, trying to misrepresent the identity using a fake identity.
Mr. Joseph, you have a few minutes. Sorry.
So these are just a highlight, a detailed highlight of, or a keynote of all the factors which I stated. Please next. And just to cut it short, thank you for listening and thank you for having me on board. Have a nice.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph, for this very, very important part, which is one of the last things you said is about the fake document. Please and please do not use false or fake documents in any way. Don't try to do it. So now we'll be calling on Ms. Simi to come talk to us about letter of intent. I don't know, Ms. Simi. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to stress this important part because as Mr. Yobami said, you are not present at the embassy during the filing of your application or during the checking of your application. So you should write a letter of intent and sponsorship for your sponsor and for yourself. This has been included in the group, the drive. There's a drive for it. But this does not mean that you should copy what maybe I wrote or what Abiola wrote or what Ayobami wrote, because this visa is I don't know how to call it. You are on your own. It's a one-man business. So like Ayobami advised, if you can get also a template of the letter of intent or sponsorship of Ayobami on his YouTube channel, so you could know what to write. Because I watched a video of a deputy consular of the Italian embassy to, I think, India or Pakistan, that people always bring the same letter of intent, which is empty, which it is not right. Explain yourself, as also Joseph said. Okay, this transaction came in from the sales of land. Write it in your letter of intent. I sold the land to sponsor myself. My sister in the US sent me this money, this and this. Let your sponsor write also all the documents he or she is going to be submitting or giving to you, and how he or she plans to give you the money and sustain you while you are in Italy. Also yourself, you should also know where you are going to and also give a budgetary sum, know what you are doing. Not that because for example, people just sorry to say, just copy and change, or we call it plagiarism, just remove the person's name and write their name. So because you are not there, write 2 or 3 pages if you like, if you want to explain yourself, because this gives you an avenue or a point at which, if they are confused, they can easily see from this document that, oh, you wrote this statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please let us avoid plagiarism. Let's avoid just copying and pasting, and just whatever we see online, we just copy and we paste. If we try to write by ourselves, it gives us like more chance and more opportunity to be able to get it right. So now we'll be inviting Ayobami to talk to us about the regional scholarship and the matches scholarship.
Ayobami Olawusi or Christiana Olawusi will be talking about the MAECI scholarship for people that are already on it or applying to it, and how it is like. Thank you.
Do we have these people in the house?
Ayobami, please unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olausi Ayobami Christiana, and I'm a student here. I'm doing my fourth year at the University of Verona. So I will be talking about the MAECI scholarship. That is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Scholarship.
Sorry,
So
your audio is a bit low. I don't know if this is my network anyway.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay, so actually I don't have a slide. I'll just give like a short summary about everything I'm going to discuss. So the MAECI scholarship is also known as the Italian government scholarship, and it's a scholarship that is being granted to students, like to master students, PhD students, and other research programs. Actually, this scholarship is not for bachelor's degree program. So, and the scholarship comes out mid-May, and its deadline is the 14th of June every year. So the scholarship is always, maybe let me say from my own personal point of view, because last year we were like 10 that applied, we were like 10 that was called for the interview, 10 to 11, but I think we were just 4 that were choosing. And I'm also in contact with those 4, and I noticed the 4 are all first-class students. But this is not a discouragement. If you have a very good result, maybe a second-class upper, you have other voluntary services you've done, you have other certifications, you can also add it to apply for the scholarship. So, and the scholarship will close in 2 weeks' time. So I think maybe in 12 or 13 days. So it's advisable you apply for the scholarship as early as possible, because towards the last 2 days, the site becomes so busy and you might find it difficult to apply. And then during the application for this scholarship, it's always advisable you rename your document in a short way. Like when you want to upload your transcript, you should upload it as my transcript. Don't let it to be long. Like when I want to upload my document, mostly what I do is Olawusi Ayobami Christiana's transcript. But I think the site is very sensitive and it's not going to accommodate this. Just rename it as my transcript. If it's your certificate, my certificate. If it is your international passport, my international passport. If it's your or any other document, just make it very short, and then let the how like the size of the documents, let it to be below maybe 500 kilobytes. Don't let it to be too much. So you can apply for this scholarship with your admission in master's degree course. It's always advisable you have admission. And if you don't have admission, you can still apply. But when everyone is being called, when you are shortlisted, so you have to have admission by then. So you have to provide your admission letter when you are shortlisted, because after applying, you are going to get an email by ending of June. You get an email by ending of June for those that were shortlisted to come to Abuja, and you'll be given dates to come for your interview. So, and everything you are going to submit for your interview must be the same document you applied with. If your recommendation letter, if you added recommendation letter, it must be the same. Your international passport, your transcript, your certificates, everything must be the same. And then one thing I want to emphasize on is especially people that have numerous admissions, you have to be very, very careful. I feel the admission you were given to be selected for the Italian government scholarship should be the admission you want to continue with. Because there was someone I know last year, he had an admission, I think University of Bologna. He has 2 admission, I think, for almost the same courses. So I think he said his favorite course was not the one he did interview with MAECI for. So after the interview, he now went to maybe do another pre-enrollment. I don't really understand how he did it, but it was not later selected. So if you've gotten an admission, you've pre-enrolled, and that is what you use for MAECI interview if you are selected. And then later you get another admission, maybe a preferable course of study. I'll just advise you leave that and just continue with the one you use for your interview, because it will just show you are confused and you are not serious. So I also proceed to, the scholarship is for 9 months. It starts from November each year to July of the other academic year. So, and for the scholarship to be renewed, you have to show at least 15 ECTS. That is, at least you have to do maybe like 3 courses, because here in Italy or in my school, each of my courses is like 6 ECTS. So you have to provide 15 ECTS, and you have to show proof that you are still enrolled in the master course. And you can also do some courses that are not in English language. You can enroll for some courses that are in Italian, like course of higher education in art and music. Also for PhD students, is also for 9 months. And if you are here for research projects too, for some research program, but the program must be recognized by the Italian government scholarship. So it's also for 9 months too. And then
You have just 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay, and then the age summary for master student. Last year, I think it was 30 years, but now I think everything has been rearranged. So for master student, you have to be 28 years below. You have to be born after June 14, 1995, and for PhD, you have to be 30 years above. Then for the research program, you have to be at least, I think the highest age is 40 years. So for proof of English, I don't have any English proficiency exam. I only submitted my English proficiency letter, which I collected from my school, that my course is fully taught in English language. So I've talked about the renewal, I've talked about the funding period. So, and then this scholarship is not eligible for BSc students. If you are here for your bachelor's, is not eligible for it. And then if you want to go for Erasmus, the scholarship is not a compatibility with it, because you have to be in Italy to be able to get this scholarship throughout your study stay. So this document I'm using is also on the website. So I'm going to send it to the group to read all other needed information. So, and if you are choosing, you also be emailed and you prepare for the interview. So when you are emailed, then maybe another call, another video Zoom call can hold to talk about how to answer the interview questions. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for this information. We appreciate you. Even though time is not so much on our side anymore. And now we would have to invite Mr. Adeni to come talk to us about the life in Italy. If Mr. Denny is here, please, you have 10 minutes to talk about the life in Italy. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Please, I don't know, Simi should help me upload my slides. And permit me, I might not be using my video. Yeah, so. Okay, so life in Italy, it's a very controversial phrase because we all have different experiences. But however, I would like to make reference to some pointers. First of all, my name is Adeni Bakari. I'm a master's student at the University of Bergamo, studying economics and finance. And I'll be talking about some few pointers. Can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, so the first thing I would talk about is the cultural norms and etiquettes, practical tips for living in Italy, the daily life in Italy, and conclusion. So first of all, we need to understand how the Italian cultural and social structure has been founded over time. And the next slide would give us an insight into some of the basic things we should know, most especially how we greet and their social interactions, and also how the language skill is very, very important in terms of integration as an international student. And also, we'll talk about the healthcare, the banking side of your finances, the legal documentations you might need, and also accommodation and transportation. Then, if you have any questions, we can also ask. So, can you move to the next slide, please? So usually the Italian culture is really, really emphasis on family values. And usually for us here, we can agree that, they spend more time with family, and it's one of the countries where they prioritize work-life balance. And also the form of their greetings, I would say most likely when you come, you should speak or act more informal way, because I always say the lingua is more patriarchy, in the sense that they prefer respect, and when you talk to them with respect. So for example, on the pictorial side, you can see some of their favorite dishes. So it's just like a typical representation of some of their most popular meals. We all use pizzas, pastas, different kind of meals. And also in the morning, they usually say buongiorno. So buongiorno can also mean good afternoon, till 6. And also the handshakes are more common, when in a professional setting, and you can kiss on the cheek when it's more cordial, like a friendly conversation. However, you don't say ciao to somebody you don't know, so it's more like buongiorno or salve. And for the language aspect of it, which is in the next slide, it's also important that from now you should try as much as possible to learn the language. It is very, very important to learn the language, because for your adaptation, for your integration, for you to do a lot of things, you should start learning the language. Basic phrases, basic sentences, basic words. Get familiarized with it. And some of the ways you can do this are through Duolingo, which is free. Babel is, some of them are paid. You can go to YouTube. Then also the universities offer, courses for free in languages, and also your commune. You can go to your commune, like your local government or your city centers. They have free language schools. Also, you can go to the next slide. Yeah, so can you go to the next slide, please? So here it's very, very important that for healthcare, because if you want anything you want to do with your documentation, number one thing, it's the code physically, which is like a social security number and your tax number. And it is tied to a lot of things you do. For example, your healthcare, And there are also various ways you can do healthcare. You can use the normal Tessera Sanitaria, which is the Italian normal healthcare system. You can use a private healthcare provider, or there's also Y, you know. Then for the banking, for mostly for Nigerians, we might not have access to bank account immediately, but the alternative, you can use Wise and Revolut, pending the time you get the bank account. And because usually your bank account, for you to have a bank account, you need to have your permiso, you need to have your Carta de Identica, which is national ID card. And these are some of the most important things you should do. And I advise people that when you come, you should prioritize applying for these documents as soon as possible. Can you go to the next slide, please? So for accommodation, it's also a very big topic. And I always advise people, you should apply through accommodation, rather, through your international office or your accommodation office of your university. Also, you can get an apartment outside. But however, be wary of the kind of contract you sign, because a lot of persons have fallen victim to some dubious contract terms. And when you are also looking at getting accommodation, I advise people to sign a contract that has to do with an all-inclusive terms, which includes your rent, your utilities, and other expense. And also for transport, most cities have a lot of very wide coverage of transport system network. And in bigger cities, you have metros, you have trams, you have all those things. And as a student, also, you can have discounts in your transport subscriptions. So these are some of the basic things you should know. And because with all these things, it gets your integration very smooth and easy. And in conclusion, I also would like to tell you that you should prioritize your essence of being in Italy, which is your studies, and also stay connected with social groups, most especially, for example, you have the NiSIT, you have the Go Italia, you have international student organizations you can stay connected to have information, to ask questions, to familiarize yourself with a lot of things, and enhance the experience. It's interesting, and it can be very, very overwhelming. Overwhelming in the sense that as you are trying to adapt, you might face or experience some difficulties in your experience. But however, we are all here for each other. You can ask questions. You can always reach out to people to help you settle appropriately within whichever city you find yourself. And I think these are some of the basic things we should be wary of. And like I said, language is very, very important, especially when you are seeing yourself to stay after study. So thank you. And if you have any questions, you can do so to reach out. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adeni. And now we move to the grand finale, which is the question and answer session, where people are allowed to ask questions, and then we'll try to go back on some of the things we've said once in a while. So now I would hand over to the president. He can take over from here, so we know how to move this next section.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, all right. Thank you to all the speakers so far. From the first speaker up to the last speaker. Thank you. I really appreciate, and I hope everyone is listening and getting one or two things. Everything is important, including the last piece of information, just about thinking about how you will survive here. And that tells you that you should be positive already and anticipate your stay in Italy. So I would say that we will be looking at the Q&A box. Some of the questions have been answered. So we try to to go through these questions. If they have already been answered, please let us know just before we ask anyone to speak. So the first question still in the box is, are we going to go with the appointment page we used at the MOE? Are we going to go with the appointment page we used at the MOE? I'm not sure if I understand this question. Would anybody like to speak on this? Go where? If you know you asked this question, please quickly speak on it.
Okay, can I answer?
Yes, yeah, please go on, sir.
I think I understand the question.
Okay.
I think the only thing that you have to go with from the ministry are your documents and the receipt or the remitter printout. So you don't have to go with your MOE appointment slip.
Okay, thank you. So that is already answered. And on POF, is it compulsory that the money to be put in your account must come in gradually, or it can come in once due to sales of particular property or as a result of inflow from business with narration?
Yeah, I think I've answered this question. Maybe this person or someone else has asked something related, and I've answered. The person should check the answered question.
Okay, thank you. And so, hello, thanks for this session. My transcript is signed with ink, but not stamped with ink. Am I good to go? Anyone? I would like to reply to that. Yes.
Normally, as an official document, also looking at the bank statements, especially those of us that use an account and request for account statements, for something to be official, it should be stamped and signed, not signed only.
But this person saying that it is stamped, but the stamp
Okay.
is not ink stamp. For
It
me,
can be accepted. Can be
yes,
accepted.
yes.
Yes,
If that is the, yeah, please go on.
I didn't remember the stamp part, sorry.
Okay, yeah, it is stamped. So if that is your school standard, then I think you are good to go. Yeah. Thank you. So if someone is asking, if I don't have problem with all my documents,
Mr.
like
President,
how much?
Mr. President, sorry.
Okay, please go.
Yeah, Mr. President, if the person can actually, if the school is not far away, the person can go there and ask maybe the exams office to stamp, because maybe the e-stamp might, if your other colleagues from that same school have a different stamp, like maybe a physical stamp, and you are bringing an e-stamp, so you can just go there and ask for an official stamp, because I believe they should have a physical stamp to be used.
Okay, thank you. So someone is asking, if I don't have problem with my documents, like how much can I spend for my legalization?
Mr. Chinedu Ibe
Yes,
already
yes. Can I say
showed
something on that?
Okay, yes, sorry.
Okay, I just saw the question, and if the questioner had indicated the exact document he has, I would have been able to. But from the information I got just yesterday, affidavit. If you have any affidavit, it's coming down to 61,500 for you. So if you have two affidavits, you're looking at 122,000 or so. Actually, the person that gave me this info had two affidavits with her. If you come with your pre-enrollment document, pre-enrollment letter, all your educational documents are free. If not, they are going to be charging you, like they will tell you in the letter of invitation, when they give you an appointment, they'll tell you that you're going to pay between so fees. So it's for you to check your documents that you have. Like you said, if all your documents are okay and correct, check, are they affidavits? Yes, this is the amount, 61. Okay, there are no affidavits, it's just educational documents. Then you only have your birth certificate to pay. It's because the birth certificate is a non-educational document. Okay, so if you check your documents and you see what you have, you'll be able to calculate how much you're going to give them at the embassy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is from Mr. Ishola. Good day all, thank you for the webinar. My question is regarding landed property as part of POF. Are we to submit original document or photocopy? If it's original, will it be returned immediately?
I just talked about it already.
Yes.
It's returned.
Yes, I spoke about it in what's it called? The person can watch the POF this thing section from the recorded webinar. Thank you.
Yeah. So, thank you for the webinar. My question is regarding landed property as POF. Okay, maybe this is the same question. The person is asking the same question. So then please, I would like to ask, is it compulsory to legalize marriage certificate if you will be presenting it together with your document for visa application, or authentication should suffice only for visa application? Okay, if I may answer that, I would say authentication will be enough for that. Even if you have not authenticated your marriage certificate, that could also be enough, unless, of course, you are traveling with your partner, which we know it's almost impossible to do in the case of Italy. So in short, you don't need to legalize your marriage certificate in order to apply for your visa application. So it can be part of your supporting document to indicate that you're married. In that case, you don't need to authenticate it or legalize it. Yeah. So moving on to the next one.
President.
Okay.
Sorry, just a quick addition to it. I think I answered it correctly, but if the person has the chance to legalize, it is important to do it for future use. Because when you get here, you may need a legalized marriage certificate. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can
I add to that?
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. For visa application, you don't have to legalize it. But if you have the money and you just want to do it once and for all, I think it's okay. Because maybe later, if you want to do family unification, maybe you and your spouse, you go to Italy and maybe you want to do family unification, you might need a legalized marriage certificate. But that's not the problem if you didn't do it in Nigeria. I think you can also do it at the Embassy of Nigeria in Rome, and then you get the prefectural stamp and still use it. So it depends on how you see it. If you don't have the money, you can, do it later in Italy.
Okay. Please, I didn't, thank you for that. Another question, please, I didn't input my middle name during University Italy pre-enrollment. Do I have to correct it?
I've answered this already.
Okay.
This person.
And next one, I have a university scholarship that covers tuition, accommodation, and stipend. Like, how much do I need as proof of funds? And how can I have this amount deposited as a gift for my education from a family member and explain it in the letter of intent?
Okay. First of all, the person should watch the webinar again also. But then the thing is this, just have little amount for your flights that will cover your flights. And they advise also to have little amounts for unforeseen circumstances. You understand? So if your flight is about 1 million, you can have like 2 million naira in your account. So 1 million for unforeseen and all. So, and yes, your what's it called, can send it to you. You should just include it as narration, donation for what's it called, but let it be probably from your siblings or as the case may be, and state it in your letter of intent. Thank you.
Thank you. I book the actual flight after the visa is out, can it be one way? Because return will wreck me. Oh,
Yes,
Yes.
when after you collect your visa, the one way is okay.
okay. Thank you. Next, does that mean one must still pay another 700 in Italy, or can we get a cheaper one? I think this person is talking with regards to insurance, health
Yes.
insurance.
Yes, I stated it also in this thing during the session that you can get, there are cheaper ones that you can get. There are private insurances that you can get. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon. I would like to know what documents will be required to show that my company will continue to pay a certain amount of money to me while I am doing my studies.
So based on this, you need to still watch the webinar again. But then additional documents should be maybe CAC documents from your company, and possibly a letter also that is on letterhead to affirm that they will keep paying. Then your payslip and the other documents that are necessary.
Thank you. Hello, I plan to use my sibling's account as the only account for my POF. We have the same surname and he works in Italy already. He just moved to Italy and might not have up to 12,000 euros for my 2 years master program. But he has a steady monthly income from where he works in Italy. Is it safe to go ahead and use only his account? And does he need to provide tax certificate?
Okay, let me answer this because this case is usually, from the case I have seen, or maybe most of us have seen, it is preferable to use him as a supporting sponsor, but not as a main sponsor, because the rule that I don't know what's the name, if it's MUIR, the ministry states, is that the person that maybe can carry the whole load of your sponsorship should be an Italian citizen. And according to that book, or that handbook, as I wish to call it, if the person is not an Italian citizen, even if the person is an Italian citizen, I would still advise that you still use him as a supporting sponsor. Because number one, it depends on two things. If where he's staying is not where you are schooling, use him as a supporting. Maybe he will pay for your flights or whatever you wish. If he's in the same city, you can use him as hospitality. How do they call this thing? Whatever that is going to house you, the Italian, he fills the form which is available on the TLS website for him to, yes, hospitalita, for him to house you. But I would advise not to use him alone, because there are some rules that, for example, they use that it is unknown to you, especially if the person is married.
Okay.
So, yes.
Yeah, thank you for that. Next, remember the front and back pages of this person is quoting, making a quote from one of the presenters. Remember the front and back pages of the photocopy of the WAEC result on the same paper must be authenticated, quote unquote. Does it mean I have to photocopy the original WAEC result, front and back?
Yes, of course. What you have is the original WAEC, and of course, that's what, because you are taking the original to the ministry. In the ministry, you cannot do it, only photocopies. Both your certificate and all that. So you have to photocopy the original, of course, front and back here on the same paper.
Next. Please, the current speaker didn't say anything about jobs in Italy. Perhaps that is referring to the last speaker, Mr. Deniyi, our General Secretary. Is he here? Of course, just let me be clear that the last session is just the tip of the iceberg. when it comes to living in Italy. So after you've got your visa, you will get more information about stuff like this. But then if anyone would just like to say a sentence or two about that, of course, we cannot give details about jobs in Italy. Is Mr. Deniyara? Okay, so Mr. Will you please go on?
Yeah, I think in the group we always post about some jobs that are available, so the person can just read the post. Maybe we'll repost it and then the person can read about it.
Yes, so just be on the lookout. But of course, your focus now should be on getting your visa. Unless you have not decided if you are coming to Italy, then you can still consider issues about jobs because it is very, very important. I agree. It is an important issue. Next, for landed property, am I to state the present worth of the land?
Yes, you can state it. You can state it. But then they would also see from the receipt or whatever document you provide for the land property. So
yes, of
you can
course.
state it better.
Okay. If the land has since increased in value, but if you have already sold it, I think the focus should be on the money that you got from the land, from the
Sorry,
cash.
Mr.
No, the
President.
person is saying about land property that the person has not sold. It's just the land
Okay,
property.
Mr. President, sorry, I want to say something. As Ayo said, that the embassy has forensic, I don't know, is it forensic people that check your account statements, financial analyst or whatever. I would also tell you, because I know this, that the embassy also has a lawyer. So whatever land you are selling or you are doing, I don't know what they call it, agreements.
You are valuing.
You are valuing or you are agreeing, or the value or the agreement, I don't know what they call it when you sell a land, deed of assignment or whatever, or car, if it's deed of assignment. Please make sure it's original. Don't go and use Baba Carpenter.
Okay. If not, it's in Panty, you go and pick your document. So please, to avoid Panty.
Yes. So if you want to state the value of your landed property, it might be very good that you collect a lawyer from an estate manager or a surveyor, someone that is certified to do that. It's not, don't just base it on your guess. Next, please, the amount of entries for the visa. Is it okay to click multiple entries? Yes. I'll say yes. I think that is clear. Next, if I want to use my husband's account as POF, do I need to legalize my marriage certificate? We don't share the same surname.
I think as a lot of people have said the other time, for visa purposes, I don't think it is necessary to legalize. But as they said also, in case your partner will still join you later in the future or something, it's better to legalize once and for all.
Yeah, but I think the focus here is that this person is saying that the husband will be the sponsor and they do not bear the same surname.
Can I answer that?
Yes, please.
I heard. I decided to answer that because I had that experience last year, like personally. I was the sponsor to my wife, and I legalized my marriage certificate. Yes, it's important that you do that. About the names, it is also good that the names are. It's not a problem that the names are different. The surnames are different because the marriage certificate bears your names, your own and your wife's own. I mean, her maiden surname, and also bears her new name. I don't know about your marriage certificate, but that's how mine is from the court. It bears your own surname and also her surname, and they now know, they can now see that naturally she is supposed to, she's now your wife, and she's supposed to bear your name. And if you're going to be providing sponsorship for her, it is a legal document to prove that you are able to do that. You can do that. I mean, you guys are married. and you can go ahead, and it's good that you legalize it, because when you now come over here, it's going to be the number one or even only document that you have to prove that you are married to your wife. So it's important you legalize it.
Yeah. Okay. So we say it is advisable in this case. It is very important. Thank you. And next, how many days is required for accommodation reservation? That is, how many days your reservation have needed for visa application?
How many days?
Yeah, should your accommodation reservation have?
It depends on your situation. If maybe you applied for the regional scholarship and is expected to maybe the what's it called, the awardance of the room to you, maybe depending 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, depending, even 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on your discretion.
But I think it's advisable for temporary accommodation, use 30 days and state it in your letter of intent that this is just a temporary accommodation, while for you to be able to find a permanent accommodation. And that because people, let's say house owners are not giving you, they are not giving you documents or what have you, accommodation letter or whatever, because you are not yet in Italy. You understand?
Okay, thank you. Next up, please, for affidavit of support for visa application, must it be authenticated and legalized?
No, it's just take to the courts, and the affidavit of support, just submit to the embassy directly during your visa application.
Thank you. Next, I want to add a property to my POF. I am my own sponsor. My question is, should I sell the land and use the money for POF, or should I use the property like that? Its value is around 20 million naira.
If you can sell. It's better that way. If you can sell it, sell it.
Okay, I want to say something, because maybe later I will share the documents to the group, but it's the one of last year. But this year's own is written in Italian, so I cannot share. But in the regulation, or one of the things that was written, that any, like Ayo said initially, any I don't know what they call it, property, if maybe it's not, you don't have an apartment on it, any property, any coin, I don't know, whatever you have should be liquidated. I don't know, people that studied economics can tell us the meaning of that. It should be liquidated at the time of your visa submission.
Yes. It just means that you should be able to get it in cash at the time of
it's transferable to cash. That's what it means.
That is the simple interpretation. Okay. Miss Martin.
It's transferable to cash.
It's difficult to hear me. Miss Martina, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I wanted to say something concerning the sales of land and not sales of land. Yeah, they actually stated, according to what Miss Simi said, that they should liquidate it. But I don't know if the person have enough money in their account. The document without liquidating the landed property can also serve. I remember there's someone that made the question earlier asking that should they state the value? You just add it if you have enough money in your POF already and is defendable, it's coming from a reliable source, up to what they're asking for that will last you. Just add your landed documents to it and submit. But if not, can liquidate and make it your POF. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Someone is raising up their hand. I don't know the name. This is Greek. I don't read Greek. but please, you can just unmute and go on.
Yeah, good afternoon, Your Excellency, Mr. President. I think this is the first time I'm I'm speaking in this platform, and I want to commend your effort, you and your team, the executive of NSCF Italy. I am Austin. That's my name. I'm Austin, and I am the regional coordinator of Tuscany. You might not know me by person. I think CIMEA, Martha knows me, will know better. So I commend your effort, but I want to make some contribution which is outside the stuff you're talking about. Sorry.
Then you please, maybe you should hold on. Let's be done with the Q&A session, please. And we are trying to finish on time. Already we are behind schedule, so we can focus on this for now.
Mr. President.
Okay. Yes.
We have just 4 minutes for.
Yeah. Okay. This is what I will say, that I really want us to assist the generality, especially because I see that many people are still in this webinar. I guess they are interested in the question and answer because they might be very important for everybody. So we will just crave your indulgence that you give us until 3 p.m. Especially, I'm specifically talking with people that are here that are providing these answers.
Okay, no problem.
So thank you. I will crave your indulgence that you give us 15 minutes more.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. President. Another thing is we may not be able to answer all your questions. So that's why we have the group, and we will continue to have like last year, or people that were beneficiary of this scheme that Mr. Habib did. Usually every weekend from June, we have a personal consultation, let's say Google Meets. Maybe when we start, you can tender your questions so that we don't spend a long time on this.
All right. Thank you. We go on for now. Please, let's focus on what you are doing now, and we see how many questions we can answer in the next 10 minutes, and then we will just give announcement and continue on the group. Thank you. So this person is asking, so for the pre-enrollment, will I wait for the school to give me a go ahead, or should I just go to the site and pre-enroll? What do I do if DOV is needed during pre-enrollment? Next, what is the number of entries on visa application? And then for my mother's signature on affidavit for age declaration, can I use a voter's ID and work ID? Mr. Habib, please just respond to one or two of these questions. Go on.
Can I respond?
Yes, please go on. Please, guys.
Okay, yeah. So for the first one, if you have gotten your admission, if you have received the admission letter, just go straight to pre-enroll. You understand? Pre-enroll immediately. So what do I do is needed during DOV? Ignore. The part will not be compulsory. Just ignore the DOV part. What's the number of entries? Multiple entry. For my mother's signature, the valid ID is usually voter's card. So voter's ID can work. It's usually voter's ID, NIN, and the likes. So work ID, not necessary.
Thank you. Please, can you say something about jobs in Italy as an international student? What kind of jobs are available and how easy? We have answered that. Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. President, I don't know if the details about the voter's ID or something is correct. I'm not sure, but because the ID is supposed to have a signature, that's why I stated during authentication that you can do, of which that's what I did. Of course, I submitted my mom's NIN, but NIN doesn't have signature, and she doesn't have an international passport, neither a driver license. So you can do an affidavit of signature and sign it. I don't know if something has changed compared to when I applied, so maybe.
I mentioned this when I was speaking on legalization and DOV. If you're taking an ID of your mom, it must have her picture and her signature, and you're allowed to take 1 or 2 IDs. So if the voter's card doesn't have her signature on it, you can carry another ID that has a signature on it, but that signature, there must be a signature on an ID document that corresponds to the signature on the affidavit.
Thank you. For tax certificate, is it from business only or also from salary too? Definitely, it doesn't matter your status if you or your sponsor is working as a business person or employed with the government, and you can use tax certificate, or you can obtain that, or they can obtain that and give it to you.
Sorry, Mr. President, I want to say something because I saw a question of an Erasmus scholar. As Erasmus students,
please hold on. Let's take you one at the other,
okay.
please. Thank you. So, can STEM courses apply for MAECI scholarship? Yes, there is no discrimination against them. Please just read the information that has already been posted, the link on our group. Please, I am a married woman. Do I have to go to embassy with change of name, affidavit, or marriage certificate is enough?
That question, if your passport has your new surname, then you have to also submit your proof of change of name, like the affidavit and maybe newspaper publication. But if you are still using your
maiden
surname, yeah, your maiden surname, then you don't have to submit a change of name document.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I have over 20 million in my account. My dad over 50 million as a sponsor. I have CAC. I am a web developer. I'm really hooked up on what documents to provide in order to support the funds in my account. I have tax clearance for 3 years also. The funds don't come in once, like 500K in every 3 days. Mr. Ogundai, in one sentence, please answer this person.
First is congratulations, you don't have any problem with POF, so just apply.
Yeah.
So what I think you should show your tax certificate and that you're a web developer. If you can get, let's say, show a proof that you're actually a web developer. Possibly if it is freelancing or you are working. If you are working under someone, get a letter. If it is freelancing, you can actually maybe prove a statement, print out the statement on wherever freelancing site you're working on. I think you are good to go with that, especially you have tax certificate. Yeah.
Okay, I said in one sentence, please, thank you, because other questions are waiting. So also, hello, my POF, I will be using my account as a self-sponsored student. I run a co-owned business, which is how I make money. What document should I present along my CAC and FRS tax clearance?
Please, I think the best, Mrs. Anna, please mute your mic. Please, for this particular person, try to watch the webinar, the recorded webinar again. All items have been listed.
Thank you. And this one is saying, my bank statement is personal bank statement. I receive funds around 5 million to 8 million weekly, but all the funds always go out the same day due to my business area. So basically there's inflow and outflow, but the money doesn't sit in the account. The account has been active since January and has a total of 600 million inflow and outflow without any sitting amount. Is this a problem?
Yes.
Very dicey.
Can I say something on that?
Yes, please, in 2 sentences.
Yeah, it's very important. Even if you have your inflow and outflow and you're not having like a credit balance, it's a problem, because how do you prove that it's your money and the money is coming in a legitimate way? So for them, it's not about the inflow and outflow, it's how the money is being moved and how soon the money is being moved. So these are and the credit balance is important.
Okay. Yes, I think the summary for that is that you still need the required fund to stay in your account at the time of your application. That is very important. You can't just show them that money is coming in and out. Thank you. So I think we already answered someone, but they want to know further. To add context to my IELTS question, the 2 years validity ended May 12th, although my school accepted it. Not sure if it will affect MAECI. Please, I will say you should contact Ms. Solawusi on this. Yeah. And she actually said that even just letter of English proficiency will be enough. So we have answered this question about if it is necessary to legalize your marriage certificate. I hope you got your answer. Also, this is someone saying, can I change my transcript I upload on Universitaly to a new transcript? That is after a pre-enrollment summary. Why would this be necessary? Any response to that? But I don't know why this person will want to change their transcript.
Can I answer? You don't have to change anything since your pre-enrollment has been validated. Don't worry.
Okay, so you don't have to. It appears more questions are popping in, but I'm going to stop it at this point in time so that we can have a few minutes for announcement. But maybe perhaps there are some questions that my co-host consider very important. They can see the question and answer, so please let them give some responses to that. Vice President, please go on. You wanted to answer a question regarding Erasmus.
Yes, I saw a question of an Erasmus person, and she said, or he or she said, that her degree is from the European Union. Please confirm from your university if you need CIMEA, because, for example, some Erasmus scholars have issues when they come for mobility in Italy and they don't have the DOV or CIMEA. So please clearly let your school state so you don't come here and, and start giving yourself headache.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other important information that any speaker or any scholar, NiSIT scholar would like to add? Please feel free to unmute and speak about this. Otherwise, I would just like to say, I will collate all the other questions that have not been answered so that we can put them on post-admission group, and we can see people that will respond to them. And I'm also very sure that many of them have already been answered, but I've not read them very well. So I would like to say that regarding the pre-rejection notice, see it as an opportunity. It is an opportunity for you to beef up your application. And having said this, make sure that in whatever you are responding to, in most cases, they will just say that your fund is not sufficient, or you have not demonstrated that that you have sufficient, reliable, sustainable source of income. To paraphrase, make sure that whatever story that you are telling is consistent with what you have already said in your application. Yes, and of course, your response must be tailored to your personal case. You might seek counsel with people that have gone through this before. You might need to do a one-on-one kind of talk with somebody to whom you will explain what you have already submitted. So don't just go with general information. But like I said, it is very important that your new story tallies with the initial story. That's something I think I should add to that. Moderator, please, any other thing? Just before I hand over, we say thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you to all the speakers. We appreciate you. We continue this discussion on our post-admission platform. I really appreciate you all on behalf of the executive committee and the entire member of Nigerian Scholars in Italy. We wish you best of luck. I hand over to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for giving us this very good opportunity to say to everyone that your questions will continue to be answered in our group. And you already gave the vote of thanks. So I would say, see you all next time on the next webinar. Try to be present and be more active in the group. Be more active in the group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. See you in Italy.
Yeah, VP, any information about the diary session, the weekly session?
I will talk to our